Dave Roberts, the manager of the Dodgers. First question for Dave. We'll start with John to your right, Dave.
Dave, great to see you. What's been your favorite part about the experience in Seoul away from the ballpark so far?
I think my favorite experience thus far has been kind of interacting with the Korean people. The food's been amazing. The service, impeccable, very attentive. The people are just so gracious. And watching, our players, their significant others, some brought kids, and just to kind of see everyone out and about. And guys are going on excursions and trips together. We took a tour of the palace. Guys took a tour of the palace today. And so for me, that's been a real bonding part of it. So kind of all encompassing, I think.
Other questions for Dave? Right here.
Dave, how much of the game last night did you watch with the national team there, and what do you think of some of the players that Korea had out there against the Padres last night?
I didn't watch any of that game. We finished our game, and then I got on a bus and went back to the night market last night. So I was keeping track of the score, but I didn't get to watch any of the game.
Other questions? Go to John.
Dave, can you share some more about the pitching plan today? Who you'd like to see get on the mound and continue to build this roster?
Yep. So today, Bobby Miller is going to start, and Bobby's going to go 5 innings. And then Gavin Stone is going to pitch tonight as well, and he's going to go either 3 or 4 innings. And, there might be an opportunity for J.P. Fireheisen to pitch, and we'll see, from there.
Other questions for Dave? Kristen, we'll get you the microphone.
Just considering this will be Gavin's final tune-up of spring, is there anything that you're looking to see from him and just his outing tonight?
No. You know what? I think that, Gavin Stone cut his teeth last year in the big leagues, and I think he's had a fantastic spring. And so, a lineup that he doesn't know much about, if anything, I think it's going to be a situation where he just goes to his strengths. So it's fastballs. There's going to be some changeups, some cut fastballs to some lefties. So I hope he just continues to kind of build on what he's done this spring. And like I said, if he gets to the 4th inning, that'd be great. But the plan for Gavin is to go 3 innings or 3 or 4 innings.
Other questions for Doc? John?
Dave, before spring training started, there was so much focus and attention on what the top 3 order would be in your lineup, and you made a great decision at the beginning, obviously, and have stuck with it. But what have you liked the way that things have played out in terms of the reality of what you envisioned in your mind?
I think the reality is I feel that it allows for, and again, this could change, but right now having Mookie, Ohtani, and then Freddie Freeman in the 3, I just think it's kind of intrinsic to who they are. And I say that because Mookie really prides himself on being at the top of the order, kind of sparking an offense, and so letting him kind of be in that position in the lineup. And then I think with Shohei sandwiched in between Freddie, there's a high probability that somebody's going to be on base in front of Shohei. And then also to have Freddie behind him, I think adds protection. And so Freddie takes the walk more than Shohei has throughout his career. So just to have Will Smith behind him or a Max Muncy, I just think that it's a daunting lineup. Not just the first 3, and then you get through the middle part of the order. It's pretty daunting.
Go to the left, Dave, with Jack.
Hey, Dave, with Yamamoto, obviously the hitting talent in the majors is just different from what he's faced before on a regular basis. Does he have to pitch differently or attack guys differently, sequence differently than maybe he did in the past? Just kind of figuring out how to use his stuff and how it might play against big league hitters as you guys get into regular season games here?
It's going to be interesting. I think that obviously guys here have seen velocity, see velocity a lot. So Yoshinobu's velocity is not going to, alarm anyone. And then now you're talking about a curveball, a split, slider once in a while. And I think that it's, I'm just very curious to see how. I know the stuff is top end, and the sequencing part of it is crucial, is very important. I don't know how much game planning he did, back in Japan. One thing I do know is that, Japanese ball players have a tendency to spoil a lot of pitches and foul pitches off, which big league hitters do the same thing. And so to be able to kind of try to extend at bats and continue to make good pitches is going to be a challenge. But because he's had that experience in Japan, I think it's going to help. So for me, I just think I'm more just curious to see how he adjusts to each hitter, and that cat and mouse game that they're going to have to adjust to Yamamoto as well. So I'm just interested to see how all that stuff plays out.
With the game planning part, obviously that's a collaborative process, but it's getting ready for the start and the ones to come. Is it more him telling you guys, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm comfortable with? Is it your guys telling him, this is how we think you can be effective? How has that played out?
I think it's more the latter. I think that obviously Yoshinobu knows his strengths, but I think in the early going, I think we've done a very good job of building trust in him and him with us. And so I really do think that, Mark Pryor, Danny Lehman are going to kind of put together game plans with the catchers. And I do believe that I don't think there's going to be a lot of shaking. I think there's going to be a lot of trust. And as he starts to learn hitters and do his own research and watch video, I think that'll even out a little bit more. But I still think at the end of the day, it's more of us sort of driving him.
夕刊富士の片岡と申します。今期の大谷選手の起用法に関して、
I don't know if this thing works.
今期の大谷選手の起用法に関しての質問なんですが、DH で常に全試合出場を目指して起用し続けるのか、それとも適度な休養を与えながら起用するのか、そのあたりの方針について伺えればと思います。
So the question was the usage of Shohei and how I'm going to use Shohei. So Shohei this year is going to be primarily the designated hitter, the DH. And I know that once we get back to the States, he's going to start his throwing program, which he hasn't started yet. I know that, we'll see how that progression goes. If his arm is healthy enough, we'll have that conversation in the field. I do know he's not going to pitch this year. But right now, our only focus is him being a designated hitter.
Anything else, Fabian?
Hey, Dave, just to quickly follow up on that, I think Elatrash had said that maybe there's a chance he could face hitters by the end of the year. Is that something that is possible for Ohtani?
Well, I think with Shohei, anything's possible. But I haven't heard that one. If that's what Dr. Elatrash said, he's the expert.
And then just to follow up on Yamamoto, what has the biggest transition been for him just pitching-wise? Is that the ball, or is it sort of how he wants to attack hitters, especially for a guy who's accomplished as much as he has in Japan to come over?
Yeah, so for me, I don't think up to this point I can really speak to the, as time goes on, we're going to see different challenges, but the workload has been very similar to what he's done in the past spring trainings. And I think that we're going to try to mirror somewhat going forward. The ball doesn't seem to affect any type of characteristics that he's had before, so that's a good thing. And the hitters, it's one of those things you're going to continue to learn them. I do think that having Shohei here with him, has been very beneficial because, they've already forged just such a really good relationship. And I can't imagine, being in another country alone with your interpreter. So now to have a teammate from your same country is huge. And so it's fun watching them interact. But I think that, speaking for Yoshinobu, I mean, the transition has been great. And he seems to be pretty happy and excited.
Take a couple last ones for Dave in this right corner here.
Hi, Dave. Obviously, Ohtani and Yamamoto are not the first Japanese players to play for the Dodgers, but with Ohtani's profile, there's obviously massive attention on the Dodgers in Japan and with this series as well. What impact do you think it's going to have on the Dodgers' popularity in Japan, and what message do you have for baseball fans in Japan? Thank you.
Well, I think that obviously Hideo Nomo, was a pioneer for the Dodgers. I think that, obviously having Shohei and Yoshinobu here, the hope this winter was to paint the country of Japan blue, and I think we've done that. So I think that, the messaging is there's a lot of room on the Dodgers bandwagon, and so it's just good to see, even here in Korea, to see the Dodger hats around Seoul, and I can't imagine, the Dodger hats that are walking around all of Japan now. So it's an exciting time, not only for Los Angeles, Major League Baseball, but all over the world.
One last one for Dave. Anything else? We'll finish up right here.
마지막이라 두 가지 좀 여쭤보겠습니다. 먼저 샌디에이고 선수들이 좀 시차를 좀 겪어서 좀 피곤해하는 모습이 어제 오늘 보였는데 다저스 선수단 컨디션은 그 부분에서 어떤지, 그리고 제가 어제 류현진 선수를 보고 왔는데 류현진 선수한테 감독님이 연락해달라는 얘기를 전했더니 연락처를 일단 좀 알아보고 연락을 드리겠다라고 얘기를 했거든요. 좀 이 부분에 대해서 좀 다시 한번 말씀 좀 전해주신다면.
Okay, tell Hyunjin my number is 760-596. That's good information. So our guys feel pretty good. I don't think that we have much jet lag. The Padres left earlier than we did. We left the next morning. So we feel pretty good. I think that some guys are still adjusting, but I don't think that that'll affect us tomorrow. And I'm happy you had a chance to see Hyunjin.
Dave, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.